When practicing drums, it's all too easy to want to rush, to get to the destination as quickly as possible. But that isn't always in our best interests, as I have found out the hard way this month. Patience is a virtue. Let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, how much did I practice this month? As you can see here, in the month of May, I have practiced 101 hours, which is a little less than last month, but still 25 hours a week. And it was hard, especially because I got discouraged by some things that I did, some mistakes that I made. So yeah, but I still got the time in and I still made improvements, and that's what matters, right? It's a journey. So what went well? Yeah, my hands feel better. I started the JP Bouvet paradiddle and doubles in flow mode course, and it's made my hands feel sharper. I practiced the first couple of lessons all the way up to 140 beats per minute, 150 beats per minute for the third one. And yeah, that felt good. My hands feel loads better. I was working on Groove 4 as well in the Future Sounds book, which has so many coordination challenges. It took me the whole month to get that from 0 beats per minute up to the starting tempo of 72. I'm at about 80 now. We'll have a look at that in a bit, but those things have improved my coordination and my limbs feel a bit more connected as a result, which feels really good. Okay, but what didn't go well? Specifically, my progress in the inverted doubles course by JP Bouvet has been really slow. This month's lesson focused on switching lead between left hand and right hand. And when trying to get the exercises for left hand lead up to tempo, which is like 120 beats per minute or so, I couldn't do it. I'm kind of at 110 now after a whole month, which is, a bit depressing, but I had to slow down. I tried to do it from about 90 until I realized that it just wasn't going to happen. I needed to dial it back and go back to like 50, 60 beats per minute and get the coordination in and get the rim shots feeling smooth. It took some time and I'm starting to get there now, but boy, was it frustrating. Patience is a virtue, right? So what I've been doing for the rest of this month, or certainly for the last 2 weeks, the second half of the month, is slowing everything down. Making sure that when I start something, I start it slow. For instance, in the paradiddles and doubles course, we'll see soon that my left hand also presented a problem. And I slowed it right down, starting at 60 beats per minute, and slowly bringing it up. And it's really helped. As a consequence of both of these courses, yeah, my left hand is starting to catch up, which is great. It's a good feeling. I also I've not been recording myself enough. I should be recording myself every day with all this gear. I'm lucky if I record myself twice a week, mostly out of time pressure and out of laziness, frankly. That has to change, and that will be changing this month. Okay, so let's have a look at the playing. Starting with Groove 4 from Future Sounds. It took me all month to get this up to its base tempo of 72 beats per minute, and I've only done the first 9 exercises. I've split it into 4 sections of 9 exercises, and I'm going to get this one up to tempo and then the second one and so on. Let's have a listen to how that sounds. Here's a couple of the exercises. One of the reasons this presented such a challenge is because of the variation in coordination between the exercises. Here's a couple of examples. Look how different they are. Even though they are based around a similar musical idea, the actual movement of the limbs is just wildly different. So yeah, it's taken some time. Okay, on to the next course, the Paradiddles and Doubles course by JP Bouvet, which I started just at the beginning of this month. Like I said before, I flew through the first few lessons. Getting them up to 150 beats per minute was no problem. However, when it came to lesson 4, the Magic 2, where we have to do 3 rim shots and that switches between the left and the right hand. So, your left hand is leading, then your right hand is leading. Whenever my left hand was leading, it just sounded so sloppy, and even worse when I recorded it. So yeah, I had to slow it right down. I'm now at the point where I can kind of do this at about 80, 90 or 100 beats per minute reliably. Here's an example. It doesn't sound like much right now, but I am absolutely drilling this. And in a couple of months, I think there's going to be a huge payoff with a load of new vocabulary. So I'm really excited to see where this takes me. In the right, left, left kick course, again by JP Bouvet, I was adding in paradiddle in version number 2. And I've also moved on to another lesson, which is adding alternate 2s. So we've got a group of 4, right, left, left kick, and then we can add different accents on the 2s to make different sounds. Here's a copy of the sheet so you can see what I'm talking about. And here's a playing example. Not much change yet. I'm still waiting to get these up to speed. But again, they're going to open up a whole new set of vocabulary options when they are ready. In the right-left kick course, I was starting to add groups of 5. Here's the first one that I started right at the beginning of the month. Right, right, left, left kick. Groups of 5 with a left foot hat and a little bit of movement of the right hand. So yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at with that right now. And here are the next two. We've got right, left, left, kick, kick, and right, right, left, kick, kick. And I'm just working on getting them on the 16th note grid and hearing how they sound over the metronome, getting ready to add the left foot in the next week or so. Now, again, I try to get these up to 120 beats per minute, then go back to 60 and add the hat, then bring them back up to 120 and then go back down in tempo and start adding coordination of moving around the kit. Then when I can do that fluidly, I go back down in tempo and I start adding accents. So it can take weeks and weeks to build these up into useful phrases. This is just a snapshot of how they sound. The next thing with this course, with these 5s, will be to do what I did with the groups of 7, which we saw last month. They sounded like this. now they sound like this when I've added them together and I've started improvising with them. Next, I'll start to make them useful by formatting them into fills and doing creative practice around that. And then finally, we've got the creative practice of all the vocabulary so far. Starting to sound a little tighter, I think. Sorry, let's compare month 1 to this month. Sounding better, I think. Inverted doubles. Okay, like I said, this course really slowed down because my left hand coordination wasn't up to the challenge of getting the left hand lead up to tempo. And then switching between the right hand and left hand lead was really challenging. Here's some examples of the exercises from this month. I'm not going to show you anything more until I can really get these into my creative practice and into the groove, which will hopefully be next month. All right, so what am I going to change this month? Well, I'm going to record myself every day. I'm not really sure which parts of my practice I should record. So far, it's just been the creative practice and just a couple of times a week. But I think I really need to drill down into where I'm making mistakes, and I need to record it every day to do that. Every day for each different course, I'm going to record my creative practice and see where that leaves me in another month. The other thing that I've changed and I'm going to keep at is making sure that I start really slowly with everything to gain control properly. The name of this game is control. We want to be able to control our vocabulary. And so I have to make sure that I have that control. No more rushing. Take your time. Patient practice. Okay, so I'm going to play out with another Tim Boltos track today. I found this on Friday last week. It's outside of my wheelhouse, which is why I've picked it. It is called, I had to write this down. It's called the Gospel Chops Chippity Chopathon Anthem. It's about 145 beats per minute, and I'm just going to be noodling. I haven't tried to write anything for it. I've listened to it a bunch of times. I've played to it a couple of times, and I'm just going to sit down and noodle and see where my improvisation is at. This is quite a lot faster than I do my usual creative practice, so it's another level of challenge. Additionally, I think that in another 10 months, when we're at the end of this year challenge, this will be a great track to compare how I've improved in this particular sphere, right? That kind of choppy, feely thing. So yeah, let's get on with it. And by the way, don't forget to subscribe and like if you want to follow this journey. I think we're both going to learn a lot together. All right, see ya.